What's it like to be a character in a movie? Well, it really depends on the movie you're in. If you're in a romantic comedy and you're the main character and you just fell in love, you got the girl that you wanted the whole movie, that you were chasing the whole movie, it might feel like ecstasy. It might feel like bliss. If you're the side character of that movie, perhaps, maybe you were the character that also wanted that girl and it just didn't happen for you. Maybe it's painful and you feel that sting of rejection. Maybe you're a character in a horror movie. You're being chased by a monster or a serial killer of some kind, and you're experiencing dread and terror and fear. It's really intense. You may worry that you're going to lose your life. That's generally what happens in a horror movie. How about a comedy? Maybe you're a character in a comedy movie, and maybe some funny things happen, some silly things happen. It could be a lot of fun. It could be whimsical. It could be an adventure. Speaking of adventure, maybe you're a character in an adventure movie, and maybe you're going off to some far distant land, some unexplored place. Maybe you're looking for treasure. It could be exhilarating. What do all of these characters in all these various movies have in common? If you are the character in the movie, it's all very close. It's all very personal. It's all very intense. You're experiencing the story firsthand, directly. It's affecting you deeply, positively or negatively. If you're the character in the horror movie, your heart's going to be beating. You're going to be sweating. That fear of losing your life is going to be very, very real, because it could really happen if you are that character in that movie. If you're the character in the romantic comedy, whether or not you get the girl at the end of the movie is of the utmost importance. It's really the most important thing, whether or not you end up with that person. If you're going on the adventure looking for the treasure, maybe you're going to bring it back to your family, or it's going to rescue you in some way. It's going to be really, really intense for you, because it could be life or death whether or not you are successful in your quest. These characters have a lot of things in common. Everything they're experiencing is very real. It has a lot of importance. And as the character in the movie, you don't have a whole lot of agency, because the story is really what's dictating what's going on. The story is guiding you on a certain path. So being a character in a movie is a very scary, very fun, very interesting thing. As a character in the movie, though, you may ask yourself, how can I break free of this intensity, this pain, this suffering that I might be experiencing as a character in the movie? Because the movie is just so intense and there's no escape, and there's seems to be no recourse for this. Well, I would tell you that the way to break free of the pain and suffering as the character in the movie is to realize that you actually aren't the character. You are the viewer of the movie. You could be described as the screen on which the movie is taking place. You may know that when you're watching a movie, you may actually cry when something happens. If a character that you love in the movie dies, you very likely will cry when that happens. You will feel a sense of loss, a sense of pain, even though you know that the character is not actually real. If a character in the movie goes through some kind of heartbreak or some kind of devastating loss or loses something valuable to them and you care about this character, when that happens, you may cry right along with them, even though you know that they're just a character in a movie. They're not real. It's not something that actually really happened. You still feel and experience that pain along with that character. But there's a separation there. It's not like you are experiencing it directly. It's not like you're going through that devastating loss. You might cry, you might feel the pain, but ultimately you know that it's just a movie that's taking place. And you're just the screen on which it's happening. You're just the viewer in the theater watching it as it takes place. There's freedom in this. Taking a step back from being the character, taking a step back from being in that intense experience and transitioning to being the viewer of it. There's freedom. There's peace. If you are the main character of your story, that's a lot of pressure to have on yourself. And there may be a lot of intense and scary things that go along with that. But you can break free from that. You can take a step back and realize that the story is happening. The characters are doing their thing. It's not like when you take a step back and become that screen, which is what you were all along, or become the viewer of the characters in the story rather than the story itself. It's not like the story ceases to happen. It's not like the movie just turns off. The movie is still going on. The characters are still doing whatever it is they're doing. That doesn't stop. But rather, that intense attachment to the outcomes of the story, to the characters themselves, ceases. And like I said before, it's not like you become apathetic or cold, or you stop caring about the characters, or you stop caring about the story, but rather there's a degree of separation, because while you may love the characters in the movie, while you may feel affection for them and care for them, and you may feel sad when things happen to them, you may feel happy and elated for them when they achieve their goal. If you're watching a sports movie and the character has been trying so hard to make the team and they finally make the team and they have the game-winning goal or whatever it is, you feel elated for them. You feel super ecstatic and accomplished for them, right? Even though you didn't actually do or accomplish anything. You were that same blank, perfect screen the entire time. All of this is a movie taking place. Great things may happen, fun things may happen, painful things may happen. You never know what can happen in a movie. That's why we love watching them. It's like a new adventure every time. And if you can watch a movie from the point of view of the viewer, it's a fun, exciting experience. If you're experiencing the movie and the story as the character, it's totally different. Break free from that today if you can, which you can, because you already are the screen. You already are the viewer in the movie theater, watching the movie take place. You don't need to do anything. You already are the screen. The movie is going to happen regardless. Whether you choose to completely and totally identify with the character in the movie, or whether you choose to remember that you are the screen on which the movie is taking place. Either way, the stories and the characters and the pain and the excitement and the joy and the accomplishment and the sense of loss and the tears, all of it is going to happen regardless. But you have a choice. You can be in the movie and suffer or you can be the viewer of the movie, the space on which the movie is taking place. And you can experience those feelings of happiness and joy and suffering while not being them. And that's the biggest difference. It's a major shift in your way of experiencing life. It's a major shift in your way of living. Of course, sometimes movies are so amazingly beautiful or desperately tragic that we do get lost in the story. And that's okay. Don't beat yourself up for that. Just take a step back and remember that you are the screen on which it's taking place. You are the consciousness in which everything is appearing. It's all appearances. It's all characters. It's all a stage. I hope that you can feel that peace. I hope that you can feel that joy today. I hope that you can break free from the chains and the restraint of being the character, and that you can feel the peace and the eternal joy of being the viewer of the movie. Peace.